Okay, we're going to look at another past paper. We're going to break these up into chunks. So we're going to look first of all at some data normalization. We're going to look for the paper that is summer 2024. So it's quite a recent one. We're going to go past all the introduction information and go straight to the brief. So in the brief, it tells us we've got a scenario where we're creating a database for a catering and party service where this company buys supplies from different suppliers to sell to customers. Each product belongs to a different category. So for example, drinking, a product may be supplied by more than one supplier because there are different suppliers in the data set. The pack size and purchase price for a product may be different depending on the supplier. And each supplier allows Finley a number of days to pay for products. Finley only uses suppliers who offer a minimum of 14 days and a maximum of 30 days. So giving you a little clue as towards the validation there as well. Let's have a little look at the data set. Now it's vertical on the screen. So what I've done instead is I've put it into a slideshow just so we can make it easier to read for ourselves. This is the sort of thing I would expect to do in the paper. This is what I would do if I was looking at a data set like this and I've got to get it to third normal form. So immediately the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the IDs. Now we have three. We've got product ID, product category ID and supplier ID. So the first thing I'm going to do is take those three things and put them into their own tables at the bottom. We'll look at how we organize them in just a second. But if we do that first, so we've got product ID. I should have made my font smaller for those boxes, just so we can fit them. In this one, we're going to have the supplier ID. So I'll just take that font size down as well. This one, then I'm actually going to take that one. I'm going to move it a second. I'll explain why in just a moment. This one is going to be our product. We're going to have our product category here. Now you won't get them in the right order the first time around. I'm doing it this way just so I don't got to move them in a minute. When you normalize your data, it will probably be in the wrong order. I'm just doing this so that the final solution is a little bit easier to see. So we've got our categories. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fields that are relevant to the categories. So we've got our product category ID, and then we've got our categories over here. So if we look, the numbers match with the category. So number 1 is drinking, number 2 is eating, and number 3 is entertainment. So I'm just going to put product category in here as well. I'm not worrying about the actual data inside it yet. I'm just worrying about the field names so that I can organize them together. Now, if I had the paper in front of me, I'd be crossing these off, or I'd be color coding them, or I'd be writing little notes next to them up here, just so I know what I'm doing with each one. Then I'm going to look at the product ID. So within that, you need the product because that goes with that. Very straightforward so far. I'll just put that so we can see what it is. And the other thing we're going to need is a link to the categories. So I'm going to put my foreign key. So that's going to link there. Again, this might be something that you do at the end once you've worked out which table is linked to which. But I know that the category for the product has to be linked to the product. So I'm just going to pop that in now. That one's fairly straightforward. And then I've done my supplier ID over here. And I've left a gap for this table on purpose. So if we look supplier ID, what comes with the supplier ID? This is the tricky part. This is where they're trying to catch you out. So we want our supplier name because those two things are very closely related. I'm just going to make those other boxes a little bit smaller as well. So what else have we got that's associated with the supplier? They have a contact email address. So that's going to be the supplier email. Fairly straightforward so far. And the only reason you get this part is by reading the brief. So if I just jump very quickly back to the brief, it says here, the supplier allows Finley a number of days. That's telling us it's the supplier that decides the number of days. So again, number of days to pay is a piece of supplier information because that's dependent on the supplier. So we've covered most of the data there, but there's no more IDs to help us with our fourth table. So once again, Pearson have gone with a composite primary key. So we need to bring two things together that will link our tables together. So if we removed all of those fields that we've looked at so far, we are left with very little information. We haven't got anything that's not doubled up. We've got separate items for everything, but we still have doubles of information. So we've got, for example, over here, we've got our categories of product, which might be drinking, eating, or entertainment. But drinking can be supplied by different suppliers and so on. So what we've got to do is we've got to break those things out. And we've got to look at how we differentiate between products and suppliers. So one supplier will supply lots of different products, but that product is also supplied by different suppliers. So that's where this table comes in. That helps us split those two things apart. So we go with a supplier ID because that's there. We've already used it, I know. And we use a product ID. So the combination of the product and the supplier will tell us that it's unique. Either one on its own is not unique and already used in our other tables. So the combination of those things. If I make my primary keys red, just so we can see them. Oh, it's not quite red, I don't think. That'll work. And in this one, that is also red. So that's how you would link it. Okay, so those two together would make a unique reference. Either on its own is not unique. Together, they are a unique reference. So the part we're missing now is the pack size. Okay, so the pack size would go here because it's nothing to do with a category. And I can't use it over here in the product table because if we look, large white paper cups are supplied by two different companies, Carver and CCS, and their pack size is different. So I couldn't put it in there. So that tells me it's got to be in its own table over here. And then I've got the purchase price. Again, because we're looking at the white paper cups, Carver charged £99 and CCS charged £55 because they're different size packs. So that information that we couldn't use in the other tables would go into the fourth one. So essentially the way you would approach this in the exam is you'd work out this because it's got an ID, you'd work out this table because it's got an ID, you'd work out this table because it's got an ID, and then you'll have those two fields left over. How do we tell where they go? Well, we've got to make a fourth table for them to go into because they don't fit there because they're different, and they don't fit there because, again, they're different. So we need to combine those two things together to make this composite primary key. And then you've got your perfectly normalized table with no added field names, and you would be able to go straight to access and set up your fourth table structure with your relationships.